let's get started. So tonight I'm going to be drawing this John Deere 8345R. That's what we're drawing. Just became a top one viewer. Awesome. Hey, thanks for the bunnies. Appreciate that on TikTok. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube tonight. And we're going to be drawing this thing. Alright. So this is what I've got started so far. And let's see if I can find a piece of tracing paper here. I always throw some tracing paper over top of what I'm working on. If I wasn't live, I would be just using a piece of notebook paper or something like that. Also, normally I have a monitor over here that shows my TikTok live feed for comments, and that's not working tonight. So if I miss your comments or your gifts or whatever, I apologize. Bobby Cron seems to be gifting a lot tonight, though, so I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. So with that, let's get started. I got a little bit new audio system here on YouTube, so if y'all can't hear me or something, let me know. We'll figure it out. Just going to go ahead and get started here. Now, one thing I'll point out is that this whole side of the weights here was not on the drawing that I'm working off of, my reference drawing. So I had to, I kind of just got to draw them in. I'm hoping for the best to make them look like something, but if they don't turn out, that's my fault, because I picked a drawing that didn't show the weights. But I like the rest of this photo, so I was going to use it. So, how's everybody doing tonight? Drop me a comment. Let me know where you're from. Like I said, I'm on YouTube right now, live, and I'm on TikTok live. So you got two options to watch me. TikTok is just a screen capture of my other channel, so you get a better view over there on YouTube if you're interested. But either way, you get to see what's going on. So your choice. Choose wisely. I'm not really a John Deere guy. I'm not really a modern tractor guy. So this is two things that I normally don't draw. But I don't know, something drew me in about this beast. I'm a little nervous to draw this disc in the back. I'll be honest with you. That's a new venture for me that I'm not quite sure I'm ready for, but we'll try. There's a lot of stuff in there. I'm going to keep the detail pretty low on that just because there's so much going on. We're going to hope for the best. So. The guy that has a Ford Ranger. That's right, you are. I do remember that name now. How you doing, buddy? I haven't forgot about your picture with your dad in it. I'm still considering it. The more I look at it, the less I want to do it, though. I'll be honest with you. It's I don't know. It's a challenging picture that I'm not quite sure I'm up to right yet, but anyway, I'll let you know for sure probably this weekend, one way or another. I just got to make a decision. I might try to sketch it out quick to see if I can even do it, and if I can't do it, I'll let you know. So what all you got done to that Ranger? I mean, it looked fast from what I looked up. Found a few videos and stuff of it. It looked fast for a Ranger. I'll say that. Pretty cool truck you got there. I like that it's different. You know, not everybody and their brother runs a Ranger drag truck. It's different. My brother back in the day had a lifted Bronco too, and at one point he had that sucker on 42s, which is way too big for a Bronco too. And he ended up going back to 38s, which, spoiler alert, it's still too big for a Bronco too. He had a lot of mechanical issues with that thing. But it was different, and that's why I liked it. So don't want to say much on TikTok. Small block Ford with nitrous. Nice. I understand. That's cool. That's cool. All right. I think this tractor here will probably be a little bit quicker than some of the others I've done. The only thing that's going to take some time is the tires and the disc. The rest of it's going to be pretty quick. So it might not be fair to say it's quicker after I'm looking at the tires and disc, but it's not going to be, I don't think it'll be a 2-hour drawing. I think we're going to be about an hour and 10 minutes maybe, something like that max. You're drawing a John Deere. That's how I feel about it too. Oh, I'm not a deer guy. I'm not a deer guy. I don't draw too many deers. And you know what? I try to mix it up though. I started looking the other day at what I actually do draw. I've drawn a lot of internationals, which I think is a given because that's what I grew up on, and that's probably my favorite. I draw a lot of Allis Chalmers, which was also around my house while I was growing up. Then there's some Olivers in there. We didn't have too many Olivers growing up. We had a 66 that we pulled for a while. And then we had I think it was a 77. It was on the farm, my grandfather's place. But I seemed to draw a lot of Olivers. He had a 1800 Oliver also. Forgot about that one. So, drawn a few Fords. Drawn a few Ford cars and trucks. A couple Chevy cars. I mix it up. I like drawing barns. I've drawn a few of those. I find it harder to find barns to draw. Like, people send me tractors all the time, but nobody's like super proud of their barn. I think that's because a lot of the older barns are kind of going away, and the pole barns aren't much to look at. I used to take pictures of barns when I was back in Pennsylvania, and I'd draw pictures off of barns, but out here in Nebraska, most of the barns are further off the road. It's harder to take pictures without, making a friend with a farmer. And hey, can I take a picture of your barn? That's kind of a weird thing for me to go up to somebody and ask when I first met them. I think if I showed them what I'm doing, they'd probably open their barn up and say, "Draw my tractors." But it is what it is. Oh, you're drawing a John Deere. Okay, whatever. Can you draw a Case IH 9370 four-wheel drive? I probably can, but I don't take requests on my lives. It's just too much for me to keep track of. So, but if you want to take a minute and shoot me a message on Instagram or email me, that's something new. On all of my social media, if you go into my profiles, there's a Beacons link there, And it has a whole list of all my social media, my YouTube, my TikTok, my Twitter, my Instagram, my, I don't know, Faceplace, all those places. But there's also an email address in there that you can send requests to. So I'll probably regret opening it up to that, but that's there now. So feel free to send me your requests to my email. Do you think you could draw a JI case 930 or 730 sometimes? Maybe. Send me a request. Instagram, direct message, or email, either one. Both links are in my bio for TikTok. Always looking for stuff to draw. I'm looking right now for a case to draw, and I've got a few in my folder, and I'm waiting to find like the right one, or just gonna settle on one that I have to draw. Like not a case IH, like an old school case. Alright, there's like a honeycomb looking grill here. I'm gonna kind of draw that in a little bit, and then I'm going to cover it with black, and hopefully just a little of that will come through. Nice thing with these bigger tractors is, other than the tires, there's not a lot of details. There's just a lot of shading, that little round corners, which makes it fun to draw. Alright. This week almost whooped my butt, I'll tell you that. It was a busy week. Busy week. What got you into drawing? Drawing was the one thing when I was a kid that was free. I mean, other than some pencils that were cheap and some paper, which I'll tell that story sometime. Paper was free also for me. We didn't have a lot growing up. We really didn't have much of anything. We had the farm, we had some tractors and stuff like that. But as far as like toys and whatnot, when I was really young, we didn't have a ton. I had some Ninja Turtle toys and some farm tractor toys, but as far as a hobby goes, drawing was the one thing that I could do by myself, because my brother was 8 years older than me. So by the time I was getting to be the age where I wanted to hang out with my older brother, he had moved out of the house, got married, and moved away, and drawing was there because it was cheap, something I could do on my own. So I loved drawing. My entire childhood I loved drawing. But then when I got to middle school, I was talking to a guidance counselor, and he's like, what would you like to do with your life? Like, what do you like to do? And I told him I love drawing, and he gave me the terrible suggestion to become a drafter, like technical drawing, which he had good thoughts, but I was somebody that didn't understand what drafting and art was, because drafting, you're drawing what someone else wants you to draw, and it's a bunch of straight lines, and it's not art. So I I took up drafting, and I ended up in a job where I was doing drafting, and I never really enjoyed it. But about 10 years ago or so, in 2012-ish, I got a tattoo. And while I was getting a tattoo, I watched a tattoo artist draw a guitar. And I watched how he drew, and I'm like, man, I used to love drawing. I wonder if I can draw. And I just went home and I followed kind of exactly what the tattoo guy did and tried to draw, in the same style as him. And found out I could actually draw. So I watched some YouTube videos, and I just kind of tried to learn from my tattoo artist every time I would get a tattoo, how he drew. And that's why I think a lot of my stuff is like really dark saturated blacks and stuff, because it's the style of a tattoo artist almost. So that's what got me into drawing. It was basically just a cheap hobby when I was a kid. My mom and dad talked me into having a pencil collection. That was like my hobby. I collected pencils when I was a kid. And realizing now that they did that because pencils are a really cheap souvenir. So you go anywhere, you can get a pencil for a few cents most of the time, 50 cents or so, worst case. And anyway, good memories. And as far as why did I draw tractors, when I was a kid, I'd draw what was around me, and that was tractors and baseball, because that's the two things I really liked. We went to tractor pulls a lot, so there's always tractors around, so I'd be drawing tractors constantly. I played baseball, when I was a little older and we had a little more money, and I really enjoyed both of those. Just loved watching the Baltimore Orioles play, and I don't know, tractors were always there. And when I started drawing again, the first thing I drew was my dad's tractor. And honestly, every time I take on a new style of art, like color pencils or charcoal or whatever it happens to be, the first tractor I end up drawing is my dad's tractor, which is what my logo is in the bottom corner of the screen. Fortunately, I was busy for these 20 minutes, but at least I'm here now. That's right. All right, I'm glad you're back. How much is it for a drawing that I requested? So I don't charge for the drawings straight out, right? If I pick your drawing that you want drawn, it's got to be something that I want to draw, because I don't do this professionally. This is a hobby. I draw what I want to draw when I want to draw it. So very rarely will somebody convince me to draw something I'm not interested in drawing. There's been a few which handed a big pile of money and said, will you draw this? But in reality, that's not how it normally works. How it normally works is I'll pick your thing to draw. I'll draw it for free. I'll send you a scanned copy of it for free. You can use it in any way you want, as long as it's not commercial, not making money off of it. And that's yours to keep. If you want to keep the original, I just asked you to cover the shipping cost and my materials, which is normally about $30 or so. So for now, at least, that's how my system's working. If you email me a picture of something you'd like drawn, I'll draw it, and if you like it, then you get to decide whether you want to buy the original or not. If you don't buy the original, I give it 30 days, and then I'll either throw it into the back of my portfolio, and it'll sit there forever, or I'll throw it on eBay or sell it at a flea market or something. So that's how that happens. So very nice. You got a great sense of perspective. Thank you. I think in reality, the thing that I really seem to thrive on, that I notice, is the ability to just see the different tones and put the tones into the paper. Perspective just kind of comes naturally, with this style. I'm drawing exact shapes to what I see. So like right now, I know I'm drawing a muffler, but I got to get out of my head that I'm drawing a muffler. Right now I'm drawing a mirror. Yeah, it's a mirror. But right now what I'm drawing is a rounded rectangle with this little dot out the side. This one is a J that's on its side. Right here is a little square rounded rectangle with more rounding on the left side than the right. There's a dark oval at the top. It's just looking at each piece of what I'm drawing individually and just filling that in. I fill in the dark, I fill in the light, and now I'll take one of these blending stumps and I'll fill in, I'll blend between them. So just changing the pressure as I go. Not a ton of detail. People get wrapped up on, wow, there's so much detail in your stuff. Well, if you look really closely at my stuff, it's not that detailed. There's not a ton of detail. What it is just enough for the optical illusion to make you think that there's detail there. Like, I drew a couple lines in that grill. You think the whole grill's drawn, but just using the negative space there in the grill to look like there's something there. It's really not. So it's like one of the biggest compliments anyone can give me, though, is when they say, wow, that looks great. Look at all that detail. And it's kind of like, oops, my secret. There's no detail here. Thanks for all the likes, guys, over on TikTok. Appreciate that. I appreciate everybody who stopped over to YouTube also. Everybody's been kind of quiet over there. I've seen a few people drop in, but YouTube's where my future's at, I hope. You can do a lot more on YouTube than you can on TikTok. Just right now, using the software that I'm using, I can do multiple camera views and all that good stuff. Much easier than I ever could over there on TikTok. I sent an email to TikTok like, hey, I'd really like to use your platform to do my streaming, and they responded back that this is features like you're requesting are only for our advanced streamers. Okay, then I'll go to YouTube. Nice talking to you. This seems quite nice to do, just happily drawing away and chatting with random people. It is nice. And honestly, if y'all weren't here, I'd be talking to myself. And there's actually videos of me doing that, because when I first started over on YouTube, there was nobody that would ever stop in. So it's actually nice when people interact, send me messages. I'm struggling tonight to keep up with the TikTok chat because it's on a little screen over here that I'm having a tough time seeing. My monitor that I normally have is not working. So luckily, there hasn't been a lot of TikTok people talking, because it's just really tough for me to keep up with that screen over there. So drawing's super relaxing for me. Like I said, I had a really rough work week. Like one of the guys that works for me was out, so I was covering his stuff and covering his shifts, and it just made for a really difficult week. And when you sit down with drawings and you just forget that the world exists for a few moments, you just have this piece of paper that you're turning into something, and that's about it. And it's super relaxing for me. So I totally enjoy that, like, a lot. There's another spot where I'm going to be using a lot of negative space. There's not much detail that's going to go into down here. Not much of any. The cool thing is when I start seeing people that pop back live after live, and I'm like, hey, that's so-and-so. I recognize them. It's almost like its own little community here, which I've really like seeing certain people just pop in, because it's like, hey, I know you. We were talking last week about whatever. It's just really nice. Okay. A lot of negative space here. Okay, one thing I've missed is here. There's a little spot on that side of the cab that needs to just be kind of filled in. Love the work. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I like your compliment. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and kind of smash some of this in here a little bit. Try to keep the lights a little bit out here at least. Streaming a little more this week and last week than I normally do. I mentioned it before, I'm going on vacation in May, and I'm trying to get some content saved up so that I have some YouTube stuff going on while I'm away. So I'm trying to do a few extras. This will get me through this drawing, and the one I did before will probably get me through my vacation, so that's nice. I'm seeing the steering column needs some detail, doesn't it? Put a little bit in there. All right, so that's about all we get for detail there. The last thing that I'm going to do is everywhere there's glass, I'm just going to put a light smudge across of white. Down to about there. Do the same here. Just kind of filling in the glass a little bit. And then I'm just going to do some light streaks across here to just emphasize that that's glass. That's about it. Come back in here. This is on the outside of the glass, I'm pretty sure. Add a few more little lines to separate it a little more. Darken down here and fade up. And that's pretty good. You're so talented, thank you. Like you said. Whoa, thanks. Appreciate it, guys. We're going to move to this front set of tires here. I'm going to sharpen my pencils quick before I go too far. A new pencil sharpener I really like, but it doesn't have a catcher on it, so I have to lean down to my trash can every time I want to do something like that. So. Just going to draw the bars in white. A lot of people can't get their head around when they see me doing this, like, why are you using white on tires? Well, you start with the white, and there's more white in tires than you think. The way the sun's hitting this particular one, there's just a ton of white reflections, so that's what we're doing here. Just filling that in a little bit. And then I'm going to come in here, put a little bit of just the white tone in here. And then just looking out to this one, I can go ahead and do the same thing out here. It's going to be our bars are reflecting a lot of white. It's pretty nice because they're all reflecting the same white all the way down. Sometimes you get some where they kind of change tones, and this has a very light tone change, not enough that I'm even going to have to worry about it. It'll work itself out as I go. Put a little bit of these, same thing here. Okay, what else am I seeing? There's what's going on here? There's like a piece of the rim in here, I think it's got some sun hitting it. That's what that is. a minute to figure out. All right, I'm going to sharpen my dark pencil now. Which one am I going to use? Let's go with this one here. Okay. Now, pretty much underneath of every one of these bars, there's a little dark shadow. I'm just going to do them as best I can, just a little bit. And that's our darkest and our lightest spots right there, side by side. Makes it really nice for contrast. I'll kind of do the same thing. I'm just going to put an end on some of these. And after I've drawn so many of these, I don't even look at it that much anymore. I know what colors are going to be where for the most part. What's going on here? I feel like something's missing here. Just a little more dark right there. I've screwed that up somehow, and I don't know how yet, so we'll figure it out when we get there. Alright, same thing on this one, once again. Just going through and just a little bit of the tread. I find when I've been doing this for a while, I start whispering, and I almost get this Bob Ross tone to my voice. And I think that comes from years of Bob Ross drawing happy little trees. I think we're going to put a squirrel in here. That was one of my favorite things to do as a kid was to pull out my crayons and try to draw with Bob Ross, and wonder why in the world my drawing doesn't look anywhere near as good as his painting. When I start realizing, one, he's a professional painter that's one of the best in the world, and I'm using crayons. But didn't quite understand that as a kid. I wanted to draw like him. I wanted to paint like him. Have you ever been interested in doing European tractors other than that D06? I have. I've actually got a few in my folder right now, European stuff that I've been drawing. I'm interested in drawing the European stuff. I had one that I tried to ship to Europe, and the price on shipping was just way too much. Like, who in their right mind would actually pay for that? So it makes it very tough to ship them to Europe. But I've got a few. That I want to draw, and I've got a few I have drawn. The European market as a whole, it's different than I realized for tractors. There's just so much going on there. I did that international a couple years back, or a couple weeks back. Was that 8 something XL. I really like drawing that tractor. And then I've got a Nuffield right now. I don't know how you pronounce that I'm looking at potentially drawing. It's a beast. I'm trying to get a better picture of it than what I've got already, but that thing's a beast. We'll say that. So yeah, I've got an Australian tractor too that I've been interested in drawing that I may have lost the picture for. It was an oddball. There was only like 10 of them made for the Australian market, something like that, and I don't know, it was really cool. It looked almost like a Farmall like W9, but a little bigger, and it was made in the 60s, so I don't really know what it was. Interesting piece. It was way after its time, but pretty cool. Alright, the tires turn out good. Hey, welcome back, Sam Jones. How you doing? Alright, how far are we in? We're 40 minutes in. The tractor's going to be done in another 5 or 10 minutes. Not much going on yet on this tractor. Like I said, I'm not putting a ton of detail in this. This is not one of my commission drawings or whatever. I'm doing it quick, mostly because I wanted to draw it. And it's not going to take long. The disc behind it might take a little while. I'm scared of that one a little bit, I'll be honest. Just a little scared. It's a real doozy. What's really intrigued me is I started following a few guys from India, right? These guys, man, they take their tractors serious. These guys have these big, sound systems, speaker systems on their tractors. It's a weird, different world that I'm not used to seeing. It's interesting to look at, though. It really is. It's a world I didn't know existed, and they're always, for some reason, popping wheelies on them, or they seem to be doing races now. I've seen the last couple days where they're pulling a disc around a field as fast as they can and almost running over people. Like, I don't know. I've seen some crazy redneck stuff in the States that just blew my mind around the tractor world. But these guys in India are a whole different breed of crazy rednecks with turbines. It's interesting to see, I really like watching it, but I'm confused every time. Like, what in the world are they doing today? Plus, a lot of their tractors are they look like they were built in the 50s, but they were built last week. Like, safety's not really, I guess, the main concern. Main concern is selling tractors, and interesting stuff out of there too. So I'm just kind of backfilling a little bit of this stuff here to just bring the shading together just a little bit as I go. Alright. I want to do a couple more muscle cars too. Those have been really fun to draw. It's kind of off topic for me, but it keeps me from getting burnt out when I do different things like that. So you'll definitely see more muscle cars and old trucks and that type of stuff. Love drawing those. So much fun. Okay, that will work. I'm going to go ahead and move my paper over to do this last tire, and then we'll be able to jump into the disc, and we'll see if I've bit off more than I can chew with that. I feel like there should be something else back here, and there's not. Like, there's nothing here that should be here. There should be less of that. I knew that, so I think that's what was screwing me up there. Just had kind of a little blurriness there that was throwing me back there. Alright, let's do the fender here. Putting some white down, gray that out a little bit. And then I'm going to do up under the fender here, black. That for now. I'll go ahead and fill in the step. Shade a lot in here. We'll just put some little hints of some tread in there. That's it. Tractors can often fool with your sense of scale. Just yesterday, an Agritron 115 passed right by me. I can't read that one. Let's see, what's it say? I'm not near tractors much, so even small tractors like that just feel like huge machines. So true. I gotta stretch that out. There we go. Now I can read the comments because the comment was being cut off on the screen up there. We're better now. We're better. I agree with you. They definitely sometimes are bigger than you think. Nice. 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 There we go. Moving on to that disc. Okay. In the disc, there's a lot of just dark colors. I'm going to sharpen my white pencil here. And I'm going to do a lot of white details, and I'm just probably going to do like I do on engine compartments and that type of stuff, and just fill it in. Got a straggler there. All right, start filling it in the details as much as I can. With white on black. going on here that I just don't understand with my eyes. Alright, that's probably going to be all the white we need. Let's find a good sharp black point and try to make sense of the rest of this as best we can. Like I said, not going for much detail back here. I kind of just want a silhouette with a little bit of something standing out to make it appear that that's a disc, but not a lot of details. Something like that. 51 minutes, we're almost done. It's a little quicker than I thought it would be. About an hour drawing total. You can kind of tell that's a disc, right? Bit off topic, so I'm sorry if it bothers you, but I have heard of Jackson C. Frank, 60s folk singer, very sad life and story in our community. Give it a listen in your spare time. I will listen to that. I've not heard of him. It's pretty unheard of, and just trying to spread the word about this guy. Sorry again for the conventional methods and long comments. It's fine with me. I love hearing about new music. You can see I got some guitars in the background, so I love music. It's another one of those things that's very relaxing. So I'll definitely take a look at that. I've not heard of him before, though. So. What do you think, y'all? I think we're getting pretty close to being done this one. I'm going to get my eraser out and get rid of some unwanted lines and add a little extra details in that only the eraser can do. Let's find a good sharp pencil. Antenna down there, and then a fine point here. Smash that in a bit. Find a good sharp white pencil if I have one. I don't know if I have one. Do I have one? There's one. Duplicate that there, and then assign it in my dark spot that I have right here. That she's done. A little bit of cleanup yet, but otherwise she's done. What do y'all think? That was an easy one. mentioned at the beginning it'd be easy. It's a little easier than I thought. Not putting the detail into that disc really helped too. Thank you. Very nice. Thank you. I like the shading. I've always had a problem with that. That's what I love. If you get a decent outline down, I don't care how you do it, whether you trace, use a charcoal outline, a light box, you hand draw it, use a grid. After you get that done, it doesn't take much to really shade it for me, and that's why I like it, because it's like got a good shade. So most of them that I do, I'll use a charcoal transfer to actually get the base outline, at least to some extent, and then I'll fill in the rest as I go with my pencil. There it is. That's all I got, guys. So this is that's what we were working off of, and that's what we turned out with. I think it's pretty good. We'll get her scanned in, and that's going to be my live for tonight. I'm looking to do, I've got, let's see if I can get this here. This is going to be one of my next ones to do. I'm doing the whole thing with the barn and the mountains and everything. It's going to be one of my next ones. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow. If I get the nerve up, it'll be tomorrow. That's going to be a long one, though, I think. So that's what I got for today, y'all. Thanks for joining. We'll probably be back tomorrow with something, whether it's that Massey or whether it's something completely different. I don't know, but that's the plan. So join me tomorrow, probably in the morning, and we'll go from there. That's all I got, y'all. Thanks for following. Subscribe if you haven't already, and go follow me or subscribe on YouTube if you're on TikTok, y'all.